Rolling?
Yeah.
Good. My name is Sanjay Goyal. I'm here from Vancouver, Canada. I'm born and raised in Canada. And with me is my father, Dr. Sanjay Goyal, who is now in his 80s, came to Canada in 1963, so a long time ago. And, frankly, for the last 16 years plus, we've been coming back and forth to deal with this horrible tragedy that represents the brutal murder of my mother, Dr. Asha Goyal. In that time, my poor father has had to be on his own. He lost his partner, his wife, our mother, myself and my two younger sisters. And the whole matter has literally destroyed our family and the extended family. Today, we were here for the hearing of 11 separate pretrial motions and petitions from the defense, who have, over the many years, searched through every technical component of the prosecution's case to just inevitably delay the matter. And as they say, justice delayed is justice denied. Many of these petitions, and I would also like to commend the Indian judicial system, that in an effort to give everyone a voice, not just the victims, but the accused, the defendants, that they allow for such a fulsome process. But unfortunately, that process gets abused. And the poor judges and the system is overwhelmed with the types of things, like, as an example, what we saw today. One of the pleadings from the defendants, and one of the suggestions, which, frankly, I started laughing in court. The judge admonished me because I couldn't help but laughing, was the suggestion that the Mumbai crime unit officer who accompanied and physically took forensic materials to Canada for testing, that he somehow managed to compromise the integrity and ethics of the Ontario Forensic Science Laboratory, the province of Ontario, and the government of Canada. Frankly, it was laughable. And I couldn't help but laugh. I did get admonished by the judge. Judge, if you're watching this, please accept my apologies. It wasn't my intention to disrespect the court. Okay?
Okay.
Next.
Okay.
Did you like?
My name is Sanjay Goyal. I'm a physician by profession. I was trained initially here, and then I went to Canada. And I got trained as a surgeon there. And I did surgery for many years, more than about 30 years. And I loved the country because I went there at a very young age. And I felt when my wife was killed here, even I remember when she was coming here, and I said, well, don't go to your brother's place, because I had heard.
Dad, this isn't what they want to hear, okay? They want to hear, why has it, okay.
That would give them the
Sure.
clear picture it will come. So when your mother was
Yeah. Ready? Okay. So many people have asked, how did this all come to be if you're,
How it happens, right
yeah,
from the-
right. How did this all come to be? My mother was part of 7 brothers and sisters, 4 sisters and 3 brothers. And my mom was kind of the center of the wheel. All the other siblings would come to her for advice or help. She had gone on to become a successful physician and very well respected in her professional community and amongst the family. The inheritance from my maternal grandfather, as is typically the case, was supposed to go to the 3 sons. And essentially the 2 elder sons, Suresh and Subhash, they were denying the youngest, Shaker, who had relocated to Los Angeles, from any portion of the family inheritance. It eventually led to a lawsuit some years later, and miraculously, a will appeared. And that will was written in Subhash's handwriting and was actually witnessed by Suresh. Clearly, very odd that such a thing could happen. You know, to the best of my knowledge, you cannot be the witness to a document that you're also the beneficiary of that document. That lawsuit continued, and my mother was always just trying to make peace. I tried to help a few times, and when we came to India in August of 2003, we came to see my uncle because he was very ill. It was apparent that he might not live too much longer. My mom wanted to see him before he was on his deathbed. She wanted to have a meal, watch a movie, laugh, all those things. So we went shortly after the marriage of my youngest sister. And during that time, there was a bit of a heated discussion and an argument about some court papers that had been filed about the lawsuit, basically alleging that my mother had not only knowledge but assets that belonged to my grandfather and that would be material to this civil case. My mother was very upset by that. She was saying many times, Suresh, you're the oldest, you're the head of the family, it's up to you to correct this. It's Subhash who had filed these documents in the court. And so, in a passionate discussion, we then left the home of Suresh, we're in Sudhakar, and we went to go stay with her sister. On the very last day, before she was to return to Canada, Suresh phoned her and said, please come for one last meal, spend one last day with me, because otherwise I may never see you again. My mom, because she came on a mission of mercy to begin with, went. She was a soft-hearted person. She went there. They had a great time. She went to sleep in a spare bedroom, and that night was brutally attacked, stabbed, and bludgeoned, 21 different points of injury. The coroner says the struggle was probably 10 minutes or longer, and murdered. Okay? Absolutely, brutally murdered. Now, you have to ask yourself, this is a posh building. It's either somebody in the building or somebody came from outside. Okay? They came through a locked entrance. Somebody had to have a key and or let them in. So there's really no question that there was involvement from people in the household. And the only person that can be, and the police's theory of the case, is Suresh. Now, one of the assailants has since gone on to confess, has clearly stated that Suresh and Subhash were the architects of this, and that the other assailants worked with him with Little Lodge, and one of them is the son-in-law of Suresh who provided the transport. It's a horrible case. There is physical evidence, and there is a confession. We don't understand why we are still here 16 years later without a trial. That is, in a way, one of the greatest travesties and crimes, because the Indian justice system should be better than this.
Okay, sir. Thanks, sir.
Okay.
Is that it?
Do you think that the way entire justice system has delayed it for 16 years now, how much do you hope that it's going to end very soon?
You know, we're simple people. You know, I run a travel agency. My dad's a doctor. My mom was a doctor. My one sister's a professor of law. We're regular folks. We've always believed and put faith in the system. The delay is nothing short of monumental when you consider that the police have scientific evidence and a confession. It makes no sense that we still haven't gone to trial after 16 years. I'm hopeful that today was the beginning of the closure of the delay, and that we will go forward rapidly. My dad's in his 80s. I absolutely pledge that we get to trial while he's still able to come here and travel accordingly.
And I would like you to tell me something about your mom, like her work in Canada.
Mom, when she came to Canada, she was only, was it 21, Dad, or 22?
22, 23.
At 22 years old. And at that time, to the best of my knowledge, she was the youngest obstetrician in Canadian history. She was the youngest doctor to do what she did. She was dedicated to women. She was dedicated to women's health. She delivered, by our count, about 10,000 or more than 10,000 children in Canada, 50,000 surgical procedures, was a champion of women and women's issues throughout her career. It's a great loss, not just to our family, but to the community of Orangeville, where she was head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Headwaters Health Center at the time of the murder.
So, what do you think, why Canadian government is not supporting you in this case? Why it's been like, what do you think the reason behind the discrimination of the Canadian government?
In the beginning, the Canadian government was absolutely very much involved. I don't have a good answer for why they're not actively involved today. My mom spent twice as many years in Canada than she did in India. She was a Canadian through and through. She championed Canadian issues. She was there for Canadians, both when she was practicing in Saskatchewan, where I grew up, and the last 20 plus years when she was practicing in Orangeville, Ontario. I hope the Canadians will apply their best efforts as we move towards the trial to see that it's a speedy and fair trial.
In 2017, Narendra Goyal was discharged and he was main accused. What do you think? It was a major setback for you?
Well, it was just one of many setbacks. I mean, it took us 2 years to correct what was an obvious, completely unbelievable error in judgment on as it relates to the law by the presiding judge at that time. The presiding judge essentially took it upon herself to decide on matters that are held for trial. Now, thankfully, through the appeal process, which went all the way to Supreme Court of India, we were able to win that and have those charges reinstated. But unfortunately, that type of thing has plagued this case for many, many years.
In the investigation going on, they also accused deceased own brothers of murdering her. How do you think how do you think about it? What do you think about it?
All we can do as a family is listen to and believe the police. We would rather, Dad never wanted to accept the idea that a brother would kill a sister. After all, we have ceremonies like Raksha Bandhan and Bhai Dooj, etc., to celebrate the love between a brother and a sister. But the police told us way back on September 2nd, 2003, Dr. Satyapal Singh came to us and said, "We've cracked the case. It was the two brothers and employees of them from Little Lodge." It's terrible. It's the worst of all answers that family was involved, but we have to put our trust in the police and their investigation, and they tell us that's what's happened.
My next question is, if the Subhash Agarwal is found guilty by the court, do you think Canadian government will help him sent back to India for the justice?
Anything as it relates to Subhash is a wanted accused in the matter. He's not going to be on trial. It will be handled separately, but it requires the Indian government to begin an extradition type of process should they want him to come back and face justice accordingly and appropriately here in India. So the ball's in India's court at the moment.
Okay. So these were the questions.
Yeah.
I would like you to just give a background of the entire case in summary case of like.
That's pretty hard to do. Tell me what you want me to cover.
I do feel that as if I have been abandoned, even though this is my country where I was born and raised. And when my wife got killed, I feel that I've been abandoned and I'm not being given all what I feel I should get from
Justice.
from this country.
So say, I want.
So I'm looking for a justice from this country and hope that I get it. And I've been here many times. This time I've come with my son, Sanjay, as well. And we are hoping that some justice will be done to us.
And today your date was in the court, okay?
Yes.
You have come here for that.
Yes,
and,
that's right.
What was the reply of the judge or advocates? What have they given you a reply today? What was the discussions
What do you feel about whatever happened in the court
today?
That-
What happened in the court today? Let us know.
So today was just more delay.
Yeah, it's a very slow process here. It moves very slowly, and judges have their own ideas, what they think, and whatever they were asking to the other people, wasn't. I would not say that it was greatly relevant, and the judge was not actually more hurt that, well, it has taken so long and the person has not been given any justice to it.
Okay, so Dad, can you just say simply,
What is it?
More delayed, there's no question about that. Every day which is put in here is nothing but a delay.
Okay.
Yeah. तो क्योंकि मैं यहाँ पर ही पैदा हुआ था, यहीं पर बड़ा हुआ हूँ, इसलिए मेरे को अपनी इस देश में इंटरेस्ट है। मैं सोचता हूँ कि ये लोग मेरे लिए जो भी करेंगे वो ठीक करेंगे। अभी भी जब मैं आया हूँ, इस समय में आया संजय के साथ इसीलिए कि उसने कहा, डैड यू शुड कम and see if something can be done. Can the people listen to you that you have lost your wife and you have some faith in the justice system? So I said, okay, I will come, because otherwise it's too much for me at the age of 82 to travel for 15 hours continuously.
Difficult.
So I came here just to say that something should be done for it. एंड मेरे को विश्वास है कि शायद कुछ होगा। आज वहाँ जज साहब वगैरह की भी सुनवाई हुई एंड देखते हैं होता क्या है।
अभी नेक्स्ट डेट कब की दी है?